Hi there, this is Jory. I'm your instructor, and I'm going to go over the syllabus with you just so you know what all the expectations of the course are. We aren't going to be meeting until week 3 of the semester, so I want to make sure you're clear on all of this. Um, the course is SAHS 1120, Service Delivery and Ethics, and we meet on Tuesdays from 12:30 to 3 in Muller 134 when we do meet. You'll notice that we're meeting for 2.5 hours and it's a 2-hour class. That's because it's summer semester and things are condensed into 10 weeks. So we meet a little bit longer. My contact information is listed here for you as well. My preferred method of communication is email is the best way to get a hold of me. But I'm always open to scheduling a meeting. So I'm in Union 228 on the Columbus campus, but I am going to have availability before and after class when we do meet on Tuesdays. So I'm happy to talk to you via email or when we do meet if you want to set up a time to meet up on the Delaware campus. Okay, so you know it's a blended course. We're only meeting 3 times this semester, so mark your calendar for these 3 dates because it's going to be really important. Um, on the days we don't meet in person, there's going to be online course content that you're going to participate in. This is a class that's really designed to help you enter your practicum and the profession in general. We're going to talk about clinical expectations, supervision, professionalism, ethics. We'll talk about different practice settings, both for your practicum and then just as you enter the field. We will talk about the practicum itself a lot and we will do a practicum application in class for practice. We'll talk about certification and licensure requirements such as the CDCA, the social work assistant credential, and the LCDC2, which is a license you can pursue after you finish our program. Just like any other social and human services class, you need to get a C or higher to move forward or to not have to take the class again. I am going to let you read the student learning outcomes, the program outcomes, and the outcomes-based assessment information on your own, but certainly let me know if you have any questions. Course materials required, you have to have access to a computer, obviously, because we have 7 weeks of online course content. And it's really helpful if you complete the Blackboard orientation. If you're not familiar with Blackboard, that's really important. The textbook for the course is the Baird text, the internship practicum, and field placement handbook. This is available at the bookstore. It's also available on Amazon. I'm sure you can purchase it other places as well. On Amazon, though, I do know they have used copies. They also have rental copies as well as ebooks you can purchase. So you might want to look at that just in case you want to kind of limit your expenses there. It is a book that we will be using throughout the semester. It's got a lot of great information in it. The general instructional methods are anything from, lecture, the online course content obviously is more kind of in PowerPoint presentation. Online weeks, you might have discussion. We will have a discussion board. In-person weeks, we'll do hands-on activities and small group work. There might be videos on the online week. So I really try and mix it up and you'll have a lot of different instructional methods. So the assignments for the course are as follows. You'll have the Human Services Agency assignment, the practicum application, the ethics assignment, the social work assistant application, and then a midterm and a final. And you'll also be graded on attendance and participation. So we'll talk about this in a second, but attendance and participation on an online week is the discussion post. And on in class week, it's showing up to class and participating. So you can see the points breakdown there. All assignments are due on the date on the syllabus, which is below on the schedule. It also, on Blackboard, all the assignments have been entered for you. So if you look at the calendar on Blackboard, you can see the due dates there. If you turn it in late, you'll get a 20% deduction of points. You can turn it in late, up to 2 weeks late. So if you forget about an assignment or just get behind, it's still worth it to turn it in because you'll get most of the points. But you have to turn it in within those 2 weeks. If you know it's going to be late, you can submit a late contract. The late contract can be found under the course information and under the assignment and submission tabs on Blackboard. And you could email me a late contract or bring it to class, whichever. But it has to be submitted at least 24 hours before the due date. So if something is due on a specific day at 11:59 p.m., the late contract has to be turned in the day before by that 11:59 p.m. That's very important. And then you can request a week extra time. Usually that's what most people do. I will extend that up to a week. It still needs to be turned in within 2 weeks, just like it mentions in item number 1. But you can give yourself a little bit extra time and not have the 20% point deduction. 15% of all your written assignments are based on grammar, format, typing, appearance, required length. So use the writing lab if you struggle with any of those things, because that's going to be really helpful for you. Exams have to be taken on the date on the syllabus. If you can't take the exam, if something happens emergency-wise, as long as you let me know prior to the exam, we'll schedule a makeup for, within 1 week. But if you let me know prior, you won't have a deduction in points. If you just miss the exam, then you'll get that 20% deduction of points. You do have to take it again within that 1 week of the exam date. Final, so that would only really apply to the midterm because the final exam has to be taken on the date and time assigned because there's not as much wiggle room to get grades in. So you do need to take it the day that it opens. The midterm and the final will be taken on Blackboard, so they're not going to be taken in class. So again, you need to have access to a computer and be able to take an exam on Blackboard. Online exams are always an individual effort. When you take it on Blackboard, we randomize the questions. So if you're sitting next to someone who's also taking the exam, you're not going to get the questions in the same order. And you have to answer each question as you go. You can't move around the exam. So it's also timed. You have 2 hours to take the midterm and the final. I will make every effort to give you feedback on all your assignments, your exams, your discussion post. I will try and give you feedback and grade them within 1 week of them being due. If you turn it in early, I can't always guarantee you that I'll grade it early, but I'll get it within that 1 week for sure from the due date. The grading scale is 93% for an A, 85% for a B, and 75% for a C. Those are the important markers there because you have to get a C or higher to basically pass the class and not have to take it over again. Attendance and participation, like I mentioned, whether it's online or in person, is going to be either the discussion post or being in class. You can't earn any attendance or participation points if you're not there. We don't differentiate between excused and unexcused absences in this program. Everyone can miss either an online class or an in-person class once or maybe twice and still get a good grade in the class. So we don't differentiate between excused and unexcused. You don't automatically earn all your points just for showing up in the discussion post online or in class. You actually do have to participate. You have to write a good discussion post. You have to respond to a peer's post. In class, you have to, be engaged in the classroom activity, not falling asleep, texting, all those kinds of things that might affect your participation. Okay, so I'm going to let you read over the special course requirements, the syllabus statements on your own, and you can let me know if you have any questions about those, of course. I'm going to scroll down here to the schedule, units of instruction. I'm just going to kind of show you how this works. So each week you can look and determine if it's an online week or an in-person week. Week 1 and 2 are online. Week 3 we meet. So you'll see the date. That's the date the class would meet. So that's Tuesday. The course content is always going to open on, if it's an online week, on Monday at 8 a.m. So on May 29th, you'll see at 8 a.m. the course content, which is the overview of the human services profession and practice settings. And you can, decide throughout the week how you're going to chunk that out and go through the material that's posted online. But always know that at the minimum on online week, there's going to be a discussion board post. And it may be related to the reading as well as the course content. So you want to get your reading done, your review of the course content done, and then have time to also complete your discussion post. That's always going to be on Sunday. It's going to be June 4th, the first one at 11:59 p.m. So that's always the same. Week 2, it's the same here. I forgot to put the date of the due date of discussion 2, but it would be, I believe that's June 11th at 11:59 p.m. is when that will be due at the end of week 2. So you'll see you have 2 chapters to read in the text, and the online course content will open on June 5th. So you always have 6 days to get through everything and complete the discussion. On the weeks that we meet, there won't be any online course content posted. I will post for week 3 the PowerPoint that our practicum coordinator is going to go over in class with you. So I'll get that posted eventually. There is going to be an assignment due that week. There won't be a discussion. It's going to be due June 18th at 11:59 p.m. It's an assignment. So those are also due then. Week 4, there'll be a discussion and another assignment due, so you can kind of see how this goes along. We won't have class on July 4th. And backing up, June 27th is the midterm, and we won't meet, and there won't be online course content posted. So you'll take the midterm exam that week, and that'll be all you have to do for week 5. Week 6, we won't meet. Like I said, it's the 4th of July holiday. And then when we get down to week 10, that'll be our last in-person week. There'll be an assignment due that week. Finals week is online. You will take your final exam just like your midterm online during finals week. That'll be, you can mark your calendar. That's going to be on August 10th. So that is pretty much the rundown of the syllabus. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know. You don't have to wait till we meet on week 3, although I'm sure we'll talk about any questions then, but please email me or give me a call if something doesn't quite make sense to you. Again, make sure you're reviewing the Blackboard orientation. You can look at the assignments now in the assignment and submission section of the course. All right, thank you.